We live. We back. You already know what time it is.
Oh, you didn't know?
50-50.
Welcome to the 50-50 Show with PharoahNFL and the Severe Raider, the realest show for Raider Nation.
The perpetuation of the greatness of the Raiders to take a professional football team and give it a distinct characteristic that's different from all others.
Make sure to clock in, like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.
Man, y'all already know what time it is, man. It's the 50-50 Show, man. We back at it. We appreciate everybody coming through. The return, man. Hey, man, we I felt like it's been a minute since we chopped it up, man. It's only been a week, but you know, it is what it is. Yeah. But we see y'all in the comment section, man. With the night crew. We back to our original time, I guess. You know, a lot of people have been talking about getting back to this late night show. We're still gonna rock out on the swing shift, but sometimes we gotta go to the late night show. So for everybody that has been asking, now we're here. So we appreciate everybody pulling up. Make sure to clock in. Hey, my bad, man. Shout out to my guy, man, Chris, man. He said some of us on the Eastern Standard Time had to go to bed. My bad, bro. This dude's hilarious. Hey, Chris, we need to get you on, man. We promise we're gonna go early on. Let's try to see if we can get him on. We'll talk to him, man. We'll see if we can make it happen, but. My bad. We appreciate everybody pulling up. Make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and hit that notification bell. We got a lot to talk about. Hey, NFL Combine Week is here. You know what I mean? It felt like, man, it's time to be flying. It's crazy. You know, football never stops, and the NFL Combine starts this Thursday, and I think goes all the way till Sunday, March 1st. So. We're going to see a lot of these guys that are going to get drafted up close and personal. I know that Mendoza, the guy that everybody, we kind of all know the Raiders are most likely going to draft. I don't think he's going to work out or do any type of drills or anything. He doesn't have to because at this point, like, it's kind of, it's set in stone that he's going to be the pick. So, but he did say that he's going to work out on the pro day, Indiana's pro day. To showcase some of the players that are going to be in the draft. Severe. Hey, did you check out Steve Smith's top 10 wide receivers? Did you check that out?
Yeah, I did. I did check it out, man. I did check it out, just kind of see where his head was at. I know your boy, man. The dude you put me on to Denzel Boston. I think he was up there. I think he was like 4 or 5. I want to say.
Yeah. I think he's gonna be drafted in the first round. I mean, that would be like if he's lingering at the end of that first. Hey, Spytech, don't be afraid to trade up. Don't be afraid to trade up.
It would have been nice if we had the top pick in the second round, but you know that goes.
It was good, man. We appreciate everybody's patience, man. Appreciate everybody coming through. Now I was surprised that he didn't have Surratt in his top 10. He had Surratt, Omar,
or Cooper. Yeah.
He didn't have him in his top 10. Brazo wasn't in his top 10.
Oh.
So it was kind of interesting. Guys that early on were like, guys that he was saying that, I know for Brazo, he had him early on, like as a guy to watch out
number
for.
2 or number 3.
Yeah. So yeah, he had him pretty high, but it's going to be interesting to see like how he feels about him now. Cause it's a long process. Like we were looking at prospects during the season cause the Raider season was over. So we had to just, all right, it's time to watch college now. You know what I mean? All focus on college prospects, college football. Because, the Raiders ain't good, man. I got you, Raider Way, man. I got you.
Hell no. To the no.
Man, appreciate you pulling up. All right, all good. I get it. The intro, we're working on the intro. You know what I mean? Just relax. It's all good. Hummer says 30% want us to trade back for more picks. 30% want multiple trade ups for less picks, but better hopes.
I don't even think 30% want us to trade back, bro, to be honest with you. It's like maybe 30 people in all the Raider Nation want us to trade back.
Oh my God, man! Raiders smoke in the building, man. Hope all is well, man. What is going on, man? What's up? What's up? Raiders smoke fresh out of surgery. Tune into my brothers. Hey, hope all man. Hey, man. Hope everything went well, man.
Right.
Like health is wealth at the end of the day, man. So hope you recovering well, man. My guy Smoke in the building, man. Appreciate you coming through. Yeah, we gonna get into that Raider talk. Obviously, there's a lot to talk about, I guess. You know, with the combine, and I know. We're kind of taking in a couple of weeks free agency. I think March 10th, 11th?
March 11th, I think March 11th. The start of the league year.
Yeah. I think that's when it's gonna. And but yeah, man, let's just get into the latest and greatest with the Raiders. The Raiders officially kind of like, I think for the most part, their coaching staff is pretty much set.
Yeah.
So. At that, I mean, I know we didn't get a chance to, hey, shout out to everybody that loves watching Around the Shield. It's going to be back. Don't worry. But we didn't get into some of the hires that happened late last week. The offensive line coach was something that, I was like, man, this is too big of a hire for us to mess up. We can't mess around and get some, risky hire, some no name, some guy that like, Pete Carroll's son, what I mean? Like we can't go ahead and mess it up like that. And I felt like the Raiders kind of, I thought that was a good hire with Rick Dennison hiring him with his experience winning multiple Super Bowls as an offensive line coach. Although his days with his dad, Gary Kubiak, I thought that was big. He was the run game coordinator for Seattle. So he was able to get one of the Seattle offensive line coaches, but he made him the offensive line coach. We all thought it might have been the current O-line coach for Seattle.
Yeah, damn, I forget his name already.
Hey, man, he ain't a Raider, so we ain't got to remember it. Let's just forget about it. But I thought that was a pretty good hire. I know they hired a run game coordinator, was kind of interesting, former defensive coach.
Yeah, Mario.
Yeah, I don't know, but we'll see. But I think overall the coaching staff doesn't look too bad. They have a combination of experience with some young up and coming guys. I know you like Rob Leonard, got like D-line coach for years. Everybody's been talking about him for a while, saying that he's going to be the next guy up at D coordinator. And you hear Spytek saying that it was their process of like hiring a guy like Rob Leonard. It was, Spytek was like, hey, this is a guy that we have on staff. You should interview him, see what you think. At the end of the day, Kubiak made the final decision. And that's a good sign, man. Kubiak interview was like, yeah, man, this dude's legit. Boom. Yeah. That easy. You know what I'm saying? So I think if Jim Shorts was available or anybody of those guys, I think that they obviously would try to look into that. But look, I think, like I said, I think it's the Raiders coaching staff is like it seems like they have a nice, solid combination of experience, or at least they're making an attempt with experience. And then obviously they got some young guys on staff. I mean, what are your thoughts on the staff overall?
Staff overall, like you said, it's a nice combination of some vets and some younger guys. The Rob Leonard hire at DC, I didn't hate it, but I didn't necessarily love it. Having Joe Woods on staff, I think that helps out a lot. Just the inexperience at every coordinator spot, I'm not a big fan of that. But as you said, we've kind of filled out some of the position coaches and some of the other coaching spots on the team with some more veteran guys, some guys that have been around the block. So hopefully that kind of adds a little more balance, balances out the youth that we have at the higher positions, in terms of head coaching coordinators. The Dennison hire, like of all the hires, including Kubiak, like of all the hires we've made, that has been my favorite one so far. I just just what he's done over the years with lesser talent, whether that be on the offensive line, whether that be at running back. I think he's done some tremendous things. And you look at Seattle's run game, it kind of struggled early in the year, but it got better as the year went on. And I think, that's a testament to him and his ability to coach and kind of coach those guys through it and help them through those initial growing pains and how to operate in that offense. And as the year went on, it just continued to get better and better. And I'm hoping that he brings some of that to this team. So obviously, we made a massive investment at the running back position when we drafted Genty 6th overall. And you want to get some return on investment. And, running the football, that became an integral part of what Seattle did, especially in the playoffs. So you want us to be able to, replicate some of that success over here. And I think you just look at his track record, just about everywhere he's gone, they've been able to run the football. So I absolutely love that hire. And it's the exact diametrically opposite hire of Brendan Carroll, who was a guy who was wholly unqualified to be coaching offensive line in the NFL. You take this guy who was extremely qualified, who was an offensive coordinator for a Super Bowl winning team. Like, I think that's just a tremendous hire.
Yeah, facts. Yeah, like I said last week, like, as much as, when you hire an offensive head coach, you're like, yeah, that defensive coordinator, position, that hire is important. But in this case, the Raiders case, the Raiders have had a problem at the offensive line for a couple of seasons, and we had issues with the offensive line coach. If you think about it, for 2 to 3 years, I mean, ever since I'm trying to think of the Brasillo left, there's kind of been some instability there. I mean, obviously, they don't have control of, them being fired or anything like that. I mean, obviously, like, the head coach getting fired, but what the following season, the Raiders had an offensive line coach that was fired in season, and then the following season, we all knew that Brendan Carroll, that was just a questionable hire, and then we all knew how, like, we seen it kind of play out before our eyes. Like, we've seen like questionable offensive line changes. We've seen the offensive line playing really bad compared to the year prior. So it's just like, to finally get someone that's actually experienced, it's kind of like a breath of like, all right, you know what? All right, we're going in the right direction. We're setting the solid foundation for some of these young guys to take the next step that's already on the team. And on top of that, now we can bring in some guys and we can project them to actually have an impact. So we'll see. We'll see. My hope is the Raiders offensive line is solid to good, and we're able to get the run game going next year. Run game is going to actually be a strength. Mendoza, we all feel like he's going to be the pick at number 1. Let him develop. However way he progresses, let him progress throughout the year. I'm not going to expect him to hit the ground running. I don't think anybody should expect that. But I think everybody's expecting that just because of like recent quarterbacks. But at the end of the day, like, come on, man, it's gonna be tough. You got to make it easy for young quarterbacks to come in and have at least give them like a little bit of time before you can call them. You know what I mean? Before you could say, oh, okay, this is a bust or not or anything like that. So questionable. Many of us were screaming, this is a mistake. Yeah, no, facts. We called it out, bro. Hey, we were calling it out. We were calling out in the offseason. We called out the Pete Carroll hire when it happened. We called out the coaching hire of his son. We're like, man, that's interesting that they hired his son. That's kind of questionable. We get to that first preseason. Like, man, it's offensive line, and we had our overreaction takes. I remember that too. We had our overreaction takes, and offensive line was the one thing that we were all over. We were overreacting, but we were spot on when we were overreacting. Like, we're actually being honest to what we're seeing. They're like, I don't know if this is going to go away. I think this is going to be an issue all year, but it is what it is. That's in the past. The Raiders got a new coaching staff now solidified. They got their guys. Now that they got their guys, it's NFL Combine week this week. Spytech was able to talk to the media. A whole lot of, actually, to be honest with you, I know with you and Spytech, you're kind of like wait and see with him. You're not 100% sure. I actually like Spytech as a GM. I feel like there's a little bit of potential with him being a good GM for the Raiders because he says a lot of the right things. He seems like he gets it. When I was watching some of the presser, because he was doing a whole media tour. He had an interview in the Combine. He had an interview with CBS and all these. So I was checking him out, and it's like he's on it. He doesn't hesitate. Like, he knows it's like he knows what he wants and he knows how to present it to the media. He knows how to talk to the media, and I got to give him credit. I know a lot of people were kind of looking him side-eye because we didn't hear from him for majority of the season. And some people were questioning, like, where's the GM? Where's Spytek? Why is he not talking to the media? Why is he not? But when he does, you know, I'm kind of impressed by him. But obviously, at the end of the day, talking to the media is not going to get it done. He's going to have to go out there and build a football team. Hopefully, he's going to have a good offseason. But what was your take from hearing him talk? You know, I know he talked to the Raiders media. I know he talked with the national media. Obviously, he had that, you know, he spoke to everybody at the combine. What was your take from things that he was saying?
I mean, it's run-of-the-mill GM stuff. You know, like, I don't dislike Spytek. You know, I actually like the hire of Spytek.
Yeah.
I root for Spytek. I root for everybody, you know, that puts on a Raiders uniform or puts on a Raiders polo. And I root for all of them. But, you know, I really, really want Spytek to be successful. You know, my questioning of Spytek was mainly like his draft, like looking at what he did in the draft and free agency. Those were the questions arose. It was like, okay, well, you know, because like I loved what he was saying last year. I loved all this talk. He everything he was saying initially, you know, the whole process and his value and how he values positions. And yeah, I loved hearing all that. But then when it came down to actual execution, he didn't do any of this. So, you know, it lets me to believe like, okay, well, did you not have command in that draft room? Was there somebody else's hands on the steering wheel? And were you backseat driving? You know, maybe that was the case. Is a situation where you should have asserted yourself more. Were you handcuffed in this situation? Like, you know, we really didn't know for sure. We have an idea, but we don't know for sure. But now we know. Now we know who's kind of in charge, who's kind of leading the charge, who's doing their thing. There's not an excuse anymore of not having all his people in place. He has Patch and he has Hunt. They're both in place. They're entrenched. They've been here the entire time, been scouting. His models are in place. We're going to be using his models. So, you know, now it's kind of where the rubber meets the road, and we'll see, okay, what does a Spytek draft looks like? What does a Spytek offseason look like? You got a whole bunch of money, got the number 1 overall draft pick. You have, I think we have 10, 11 draft picks, I want to say. Like we have a bunch of draft picks for him to work with. So now we get to finally see, okay, you know, how do you look in the driver's seat? You know, not just backseat driving or not, you know, just giving directions. Yeah. No, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. I'm kind of like, I guess I'm in the minority. I'm not out on the Raiders draft, the 2025 draft. I think that it's still potential. And then when you look at drafts from good GMs, you're going to look at it from a perspective of, all right, how many starters are you getting? Okay, you're getting 2 or 3. That's pretty solid. Oh, okay. How many depth pieces are you getting? How many? Because not everybody is going to be a superstar. Not every pick, but everybody has a role. So if he's able to set at least a solid foundation or depth on the football team, while also getting maybe a couple of starters, he got that in Ashton Genty. We know that for sure. 1st round pick. Can you question the positional value? Of course, but he got to start it right. 2nd round, Jack Besh. Question. I get it, but I'm not out on Jack Besh. I don't think. Not yet. Offensive line, I actually feel like, okay, there might be something there. Yeah. We got to wait and see. We got to see how they develop and see what ultimately what the roles that they'll have, what they'll have in the future for the Raiders. We'll see that. Defensive line, they kind of flashed a little bit. Some of the defensive linemen. Now, was it a perfect draft? No, but a lot of the guys that they got, it's almost like, just like any draft, you can't judge it until like 3 years in. So I think we just got to give it time, especially Spytek's draft last year, because it was a lot of guys where you have to wait and see and wait and develop, you know, compared to other guys who hit the ground running with some of the drafts that other GMs had. So we'll see. I'm not out on their draft. Like, there's been other drafts where I'm like, man, it's hopeless. Like, I'm like, man, I don't think this is not going in the right direction. But some of these guys that I'm sure you're probably like, I don't know about or down on, I think they flashed enough where you could be like, all right, there might be some potential there. They just need to be in a system, or they need to be in a good coaching set. They didn't need some stability to develop. Obviously, it's not good that the first year head coach gets fired after 1 year, so that kind of sucks. So some of these guys might not work out just because it's completely different coaching staff coming into the building. But but if they're able to get at least 2 starters, first draft, I'm cool with that. After you fired a head coach, because realistically, are you going to really get? Let's see. Are you really got to get 4, 5, 6, 7 starters? If you get 4, 5, 6, 7 starters in the draft, that's an elite draft. That's an elite. That's kind of you're wishing at that point. It's hard to get 6, 7 starters in one draft.
Yeah, it depends. So I'm not out on this draft. Like I know the narrative
The
is
2025
that,
draft, to be clear, everybody like the 2025
last
year's
2025
draft.
Yeah. I know everybody thinks I think Genty is a bum. I don't think Genty's a bum. I just don't think he's worth the first round pick. Everybody thinks I think Jack Bech is a bum. I don't think Jack Bech is a bum. I just don't think Jack Bech is worth the second round pick. So it's like if you're buying a car, and let's say a car, Kelly Blue Book, a car is $40,000. And you get a car and you're able to buy it, you find somebody else, that's selling it good condition, you get it for $37. Okay, man, that's a good deal. But let's just say, had you done more looking or done more research or looked around further or expanded your search, you could have got that same car that's worth 40 that you got for 37, maybe somewhere else had it for 33. It's like, okay, damn, does that negate the fact that you got like a good deal? No. But could you have gotten a better deal, or was there better value out there? Yes, there was. But since you didn't do your due diligence, you missed out on that better value. So just because you got a good deal doesn't mean you got the best deal that you could have had. And that's the situation where the Raiders are. Like, I don't think Genty's going to be a bum or a bad player.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think we got value at that pick. Like, I don't think Jack Bech could be a bum, but I don't think he's going to be a bum. I think he'll be a solid role player in the NFL at least. But is that what I want to spend a second round pick on? Hell no. So I think they went the very safe route where all of these guys are going to be roster worthy players. But are they plus starters? And then when we get to talk about do we get 2 or 3 starters out of a draft, that's when you look at, okay, are we getting 2 or 3 starters because like the rest of our roster is so bad that it kind of necessitates that they start because nobody else is really worthy of starting? Or are we getting some plus starters? Like a Gabe Jackson is a guy, like that was a plus starter, right? We had some people that have started in the past. Like Alex Leatherwood started for a while. He shouldn't have been starting, but like it was a necessity that he starts because it was him or Thayer, So it's like, last year it was Genty or Zamir White. Like that's not really like a tough choice, right?
Yeah,
So like I want it to be guys that start, but it starts like, man, okay, like these guys are plus starters.
Yeah.
These guys are like really good contributors.
And my point is that you need multiple drafts to stack talent, to get those players. There's going to be drafts. If you look at some of these good GMs, they're going to have solid drafts, okay drafts, home run draft. Like it's not just, oh, great draft. Like if you look at some of the GMs, like they didn't have a great draft. Like you look at Howie Roseman, who's considered by many like a top 3 GM. Like you could look at some drafts where it's like, yeah, like this doesn't look good. But then
Rager over Justin Jefferson.
Exactly. Or he had one draft where everybody was like, I don't even know how long they even lasted in the NFL. But then in the 5th round, he drafted Jason Kelce.
Yeah. He took JJ Arcega-Whiteside over DK Metcalf.
You see what I'm saying?
Everybody has misses.
Exactly. That's my point. It's just a matter of time. They have to stack talent, and that's why like I'm hoping for stability just overall for the Raiders at head coach and GM, but especially at GM, because we need to continue to have someone in the building that understands the roster and continues to stack talent. And yeah, 1 year he might get 2, 3 starters. 1 year he might get 2, 1, and then some guys might just be, special team guys and might be backups. But look, there's only so many roles that on a football team. Like, as long as you continue to fill some of these roles and build a football team at some point, then you're good. I'm not trying to say there's no accountability with Spytek. I'm just saying, like, we got to give it time with him, and I feel like it seems like he's the right guy. We'll see. Like, to your point, Raiders are number 2 in cap space. They have to be aggressive for free agency, but if what Spytek and what he says on building this the right way, I think a lot of that money is going to go in the trenches.
Hopefully,
it's going to go on the offensive line. That's what I'm hoping. Maybe wild card, some of that money is going to go on the defensive line.
Interior defensive line, yeah, that would be the hope.
But I'm just not sure who would that interior defensive lineman be that they target.
Right now,
that's going to be
right now. I don't know who's going to be a free agent, and like, free agency is going to change so much just because of guys are going to agree to deals. We already see, Kyle Pitts got franchised. Here and there is a possibility that Alec Pierce, they may end up franchising him if they can't get a deal done.
Yeah.
So we don't know what it's going to end up ultimately looking like in terms of free agent who's going to actually be out there. But it's not like this. It's not a super strong free agency class. So
yeah,
like it's just there's some Raiders stuff where we get like the weakest quarterback class of all time outside of like one guy, and then like a pretty weak free agency class as well. It's like, damn, the year we have a number 1 overall pick and the year we have all this cap space, like it's not really a great time to have those two things.
I know. Literally, I seen, was it NFL.com, the number 1 free agent was Malik Willis. That was like
Malik Willis at QB. Oh yeah, it's terrible.
But I mean, it's not bad. It's not like, I get it. Not to say that it's not bad that Malik was a number. I'm just saying that like it's a classic like backup who's flashed, who goes into a free agency where he's the only quarterback with any type of like potential. So I get why they're putting him in number 1, because when he came in, like, I think he's undefeated with Packers, and he looked like he's improved as a passer. We all know like he's brought some athleticism to position, but so I get that, but then when you start looking at the overall list of free agents, it's like, damn, like it's not really a lot of blue chip players available. I think the best blue chip player, and he's not going to hit free agency because I think the Cowboys are going to franchise him, is George Pickens.
Yeah,
from a talent perspective, but we know the off field stuff. Like, it's not gonna work. Him and the Raiders are not a good combination at all.
Especially not if we draft who a lot of people assume we're going to draft.
Yeah,
that would not.
Like, there's certain players, they got to go to certain situations where they have established locker room, veterans, a quarterback that's established, like George Pickens. You know what I mean? He has to go to a place where there's an established quarterback, so then at least like there's a level of accountability there. Like, all right, he respects the guys that are in the building. But him coming to the Raiders that's developing, man, I've seen that train wreck before. It's not, I don't want that happening for the Raiders, but it is what it is, man. But yeah, there are some guys though. I'm not gonna act like there's not some players that the Raiders they're gonna have to overpay though.
Exactly.
So average players are gonna get overpaid for sure.
Exactly.
I'm looking at some of the list. I'm gonna try to see if I could pull it up here. Some of the guys that, man, they were on this list. I know Alex Pierce is a popular one that Raider Nation wants to get. I wouldn't be mad at that.
He's gonna probably be. I'm trying to think who else out there. He might be the number 1 receiver, number 1 free agent receiver. So he's gonna command more money than he should be getting. He's gonna get a deal. He's gonna probably get more than Jacoby.
Mm-hmm.
Like, am I willing to pay Alec Pierce more than Jacoby? I'm personally not. Maybe Raider Nation is. They know that they are, power to him. Me personally, hell no.
He's younger. He's younger though. I think
he's younger, but I just don't think he's a better player. But I don't think he's a better player, but that's me. But
he's younger, so you're able to get more productive years out of his career compared to Jacoby, where like there's probably going to be a drop off at when he hits 30,
but
which he's going to turn 29. So basically, 1 year or 2.
So I guess I'm looking at who's going to be more productive during the length of their contract. So like if you're looking to if you're looking long term, where okay, we're going to keep this guy long term. Okay, then maybe that's a little bit of a different argument. But
I feel like he fits better though.
For the 3 years I signed him to, who's going to be the more productive?
He fits better though. He fits better in this way, in the fact that like he could stretch the defense. We got a lot of guys that can win underneath, or at least we know that we don't have a lot of guys like we have Brock Bowers. Like he would give Brock Bowers a little bit more space. You got Genty running the football. You got if Besh. We know Besh is not going to be a guy that's going to be a burner on the defense, but he's going to be a guy maybe underneath short to intermediate routes.
Yeah.
So a guy like Alec Pierce, I think he would fit better than a Jacoby Myers.
I think Jacoby Myers' game fits what Fernando Mendoza likes to do to a T.
Oh, the back shoulder. Yeah.
I think he's the perfect receiver for a guy like that. And because he's a guy that, traditionally, outside of last year, but traditionally, he's been a very good blocker in the run game. We know that's something that Kubiak had really stressed from his wide receivers. I don't think Alec Pierce is a bad blocker. I think he's a pretty good blocker too. But we know what you're getting out of Jacoby. He's, at one point, before last year, he was one of the best in the league. And when he got to the Jaguars, he got right back to being one of the best in the league.
Yeah.
So so those are two things that he does at a very high level. So I think that he's a guy that he fits like a glove too. Obviously, you still need that downfield element that you want in your receiving core, but I think that he provides a very reliable target to a guy in Fernando Mendoza, and I think him and Fernando Mendoza they're both high football IQ guys, so they'll be able to get on the same page fairly quickly, and especially with Jacoby's past as playing quarterback. I think he'll be able to relate to Fernando Mendoza on a level that a lot of receivers aren't able to do. So I think he would have been perfect. But that's not to take anything away from Alec Pierce. I think he's a fine receiver himself. But me personally, I wouldn't pay him what Jacoby's getting paid.
Hummer says we won't fill all the holes this year, boss. I say wait on wide receiver 1, average receivers for now, fix O-line, then major defense holes like cornerback, DN, linebacker, free safety. Yeah, I agree. I agree that the Raiders won't be able to fix all their issues on one offseason. But the priority, I think, this offseason should be the offensive line, because that's going to be a dominant effect for the run game, which is Ashton Denty, a guy that you drafted in the top 10. And then protecting your young quarterback, who we all think that's going to get drafted at number 1. Exactly. So that has to be, to me, it just makes sense to address that. An issue that's been, a Raiders' weakness the last couple of seasons. So it makes sense to address the offensive line heavy. And I'm not going to lie, since you're drafting a quarterback number 1, I think helping him ease into the NFL, to your point, having a Jacoby Myers would have helped, with a young quarterback. But since you don't, getting a wide receiver, I wouldn't be mad at that either.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be mad at that. It's just the defense is just there's so many different, you're obviously, if the best player on the board is a defense, then we're going to go ahead and get him. But if let's say a Denzel Boston is right there, for sure, I'm saying you take him. What do you think of Malachi Fields?
Notre Dame?
Big receiver. Kind of a 50-50 guy.
Yeah.
Not a burner. He's not a guy that's gonna stretch the field like that. But he he's 6'4", I think 6'4".
Yeah, he's a big kid.
We don't have that on the team.
Boston.
No, no, for sure. I'm just being realistic because I feel like Tyson,
Jordan Tyson,
Carnell Tate, and Lemon are probably going to go in within the top 20 picks.
For sure.
For sure. After 20, I can see someone from 20 to 32. I think Boston is gone.
Yeah. See, but in that situation, you kind of hope somebody falls in love with I like Concepcion too. He drops the ball a little too much, but I like you better hope somebody falls in love with him because he's a guy that he offers value as a receiver and as a returner. And with the new kickoff rules, that kind of puts a little bit more of an emphasis on like your ability to return. The fact that he's able to do both of those, I think that might push him up some draft boards. So you hope somebody falls in love with him and they grab him. Maybe you hope somebody falls in love with Brazel and they grab him early. Like his 50-50 ability and his big play downfield ability. You hope that they fall in love with him. But yeah, Denzel Boston is there. I'm taking him.
So this is a guy he's kind of like that guy. There's always every year there's guys that like people want to get like in the 3rd round, 4th round, or grab them. That they were in the Senior Bowl. You know what I mean? They
Ted Hurst. I think he's out of Georgia State. He's out of Georgia State. Nah, Ted Hurst. He's very intriguing. He's super intriguing. Problem is like Ted Hurst. He's like super thin. He's like hella thin, and he dropped a lot of passes. But he did drop a lot of passes on like insane value. Like he got like insane amount of passes thrown his way. So, if you look at his drop rate might not be bad just because of how many passes he got thrown to him. But I do like him, like as an intriguing guy. Like later on, I can rock with that. Yeah. It had to be 4th though. I wouldn't do it in the 3rd. It had to be 4th.
So I guess this is a good segue right here. Y'all need to trade Max. He's wasting his talent on garbage team. All right. So Spytek did address some of the Max Crosby trade talk, or at least when he was asked about Max Crosby and what his thoughts about him and him being a Raider, he was like, "Hey, Max is a great player. You can't have too much of those guys. Like, I expect him to be in the silver and black next year. You know what I mean? I expect him to be a Raider next year." A lot of people are like, "See, look, Spytek just told everybody that Max is going to be a Raider." But wasn't Spytek the same guy that was, saying all the right things about Jacoby Myers? My point is that like at the end of the day, like he's not going to come out and say that we want to trade Max. He wants to basically let everybody know that I'm perfectly fine with keeping Max Crosby. He is a great player at a premium position. And he made sure to say that too.
Yep.
He literally said that. He says, Max is a great player at a premium position. We have no problem. Yep. He didn't say we have no problem, but he literally said Max is a great player at a premium position. We expect him to be in this, where I expect him to be with silver and black. Like, but he's literally telling the league, like, hey, look, we have no problem keeping him. But for the right price.
Exactly.
So I'm out here in the Bay Area, man, and a lot of 49er fans, and just not 49er fans, the media, the out here, they're all talking about how Max Crosby is a player that the 49ers are targeting. And it's not just the 49ers. It's the whole league is like paying attention to the whole Max Crosby Raider situation. So Spytek is just saying all the right things to make sure that, and he also said this, by the way, in the same press conference, or I don't know if it was a press conference or an interview. They asked him about like, do you listen to like trade offers? And he's like, of course.
Yeah.
And he said one of the owners, I guess he was assuming one of the Raider owners, was saying it's always good to have options. Look, I'm just saying, it doesn't mean that Max is going to get traded. No, but for people to think that like just because he came out and said that, oh, Max is he expects Max to be a Raider next year and all that, I think that's just him just saying like, hey, telling the league like, look, if we're going to trade Max, it better be a great offer. That's all it is, man. What was your take on that? What was your take on him addressing somewhat? Because he didn't really shut it all the way down. Like he kind of was like, yeah, Yeah, of course he's a girl. You can't have enough great players and all this type of talk. But
Yeah. Like if Spytek, like it's funny. Like, what do people expect? What would they have expected him to say, or how would they have expected him to answer that question? Like, yeah, man, I'm trying to get rid of Max, man. Hey, I'm open for business. Who out there? Because that immediately destroys his trade value if people know that you're shopping them, or if they know that you're like openly just willing to trade them.
Yep.
Like, you want to make it seem like, man, like, hey, if you come up here, knocking on my door or calling my phone, you better have a serious offer. Don't come over here for play. Don't call up with no nonsense like, oh, I'll give you a second, and like, nah, bro, I'm not here playing. He's an elite player at a premium position. I expect him to be on this team.
Right.
At no point did I hear him say, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe he did say, at no point did he say, I'm not trading Max Crosby.
No,
At no point in time did I ever hear him say Max Crosby is not available in a trade.
Nope.
I didn't hear that.
I didn't hear that either.
I didn't hear that. So that leads me to believe that Max Crosby is definitely available in the trade, and that he's definitely doing everything in his power to make sure that he inflates his value as much as possible and lets everybody know that he's one of the best players in the league. Oh, he's so important to the organization. Oh, you always want to have elite players on your team. Max is an elite player. Like, he's doing all of this stuff and making sure everybody out there knows you better come right. You better come correct, because if not, I'm shutting it down and I'm just keeping him. I'm perfectly fine with keeping him.
And I'm okay with that too. I'm okay with that approach. That's how you're supposed to approach it. Like, I don't want Max to get traded for chump change. I'd rather keep Max. But if a team is like, hey, we'll offer you 3 first-round picks, 2 first-round picks and a player, 2 first-round picks and some change, then I'm going to be like, hey, you know what? I might have to take it. Because the Raiders are probably, you got to look at it from a perspective like, we need talent. Like, we just talked about how much needs this team has. But when we started the show talking about how about Spytek's last draft, and how you yourself were like, you want players that you could be plus starters. You know how you can guarantee that? You know how you could really, really guarantee that is when you get premium picks, and you can draft talented players high. Look at some of those teams that were able to maximize or actually get players at premium picks from trades, like the Detroit Lions and some of the teams like that. Like, I feel like the Raiders would greatly benefit from that. Because some people have been talking about, trading down. I don't think the trade down is going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't think so. I doubt it. It's like 15% chance.
That's one way to do it. But it's not going to happen. Mendoza's on the board. They're picking number 1. They don't have to trade up to get their quarterback. It's right there. For them to trade down from number 1, that means everybody in that building is not sold on Mendoza. They're like, nah, we don't want nothing to do with him. If that's the case, then I don't even want them to draft Mendoza. But
really only 3 people need to be sold on. Like, everybody else, fuck what y'all say.
Right,
only 3 people got to be sold on.
Yeah. The head coach got to be all in, because the coaching staff got to be all in on. Like, come on,
exactly.
You can't draft a quarterback and a coaching staff. You know what I mean? Like, we've seen that happen before at number 1. Should I say his name? It rhymes with bustle. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly. Let me end this speculation and say this is Shenron. I don't know if anybody watches Dragon Ball Z. This is Shenron. This is guy got Goku on the side. It's not a Charger.
They said the Charger. Come on, bro. Nah, but yeah, I didn't take what
Psych sucker is my Charger. No,
that'd be crazy.
I fought all this time.
That'd be wild, man. But look,
I put it on the background. It's like a bolt. Severe Charger in the building.
That would be crazy. That would be crazy if Severe was a Charger fan. It would make sense though. He is in LA though, so you gotta.
No, it would not. This would not make sense. A Charger fan in LA, that does not make sense at all.
It doesn't make sense at all. Yeah, but yeah, look, the Max Crosby stuff, like we've been talking about it for a minute. Like, we'll see how it shakes out. But I didn't take what Spytek said. It's like, oh well, no trades happening. I just took it as like, nah, he's just letting people know, like, hey, you better come with the right offer, because the league doesn't think so. That's why they're contacting them. That's why all these teams are like, they're all talking about it. They're all trying to, they're reaching out to behind the scenes. I'm sure they're all talking, but and Spytek literally said, oh, like, of course I listen to offers. I'm always listening to trade offers. Exactly. So whether that's, and I think specifically he was talking about the draft, about teams trying to trade up for number one. And he says he's always listening. Doesn't mean that he's going to do it, but he's always listening. You should
listen to that too.
So if he's always listening to trade offers for trading up, so obviously he's going to be listening to teams that's going to try to trade for Max. Like, come on now.
Right. Yeah. It don't even make sense. It don't even make sense, man. Like, and look, and if you're all on board for trading or for drafting Fernando, then you almost have to be in favor of trading Max at that point, because that accelerates everything. Like, you trade Max, bro. We talked about Tyson and Tate and Lemon, all three of those guys going in the top 20. You trade Max to Detroit. Well, I think they were picking at 16 or 17. Well, guess what? You got a top 20 pick. Guess what you can do with that? You can shoot yourself a number one receiver.
Mm-hmm.
You can get, probably not the top tackle in the draft. You probably get the second tackle in the draft, depending on what happens in front of you. So, there's so much stuff you can do to kind of accelerate the growth of your young quarterback by trading a pass rusher that's approaching 30, that's coming off two season-ending injuries, that's had, damn near 10 surgeries in the life of his NFL career, that you're going to have to make a decision after this year whether or not you want to extend him, and he's going to be 33 at the end of this contract. So do you want a guy going that's 35, 36 on an expensive deal? Like, do you want, like, it just makes the most sense to move off of him right now, especially when he's not, as we've been saying for the longest, the timeline does not match up.
Yeah. My guy Solo in the building, man. Appreciate you pulling up. My guy, hope all is well. He says, in my opinion, every decision made last season was Tom Brady, Pete Carroll, the QBs drafted, etc. This year it's Spytek. Yeah, it feels like it. It feels like we got to see it though. We got to see it play out. But when asked about Tom Brady and his his role with the team, like, Spytek did come out and say, like, yeah, I talked to him about everything regarding the Raiders, the moves that they're gonna make, free agency, the draft. So this Tom is still gonna be in the. It's just a weird dynamic, just because I think when we had Murph from Raiders Fan Radio, when he was like, man, we need him if he's gonna be making decisions, we need him in the building full time. And I agree with that. I agree with that because it is kind of a weird situation where he's kind of all over the place. He has so many things going on. Anytime where you're spread out doing different things, how are you going to give your best when you're focused on a lot of different things?
Exactly.
When I'm talking about a lot of different, he's doing a flag football out in Saudi Arabia. He's commentating for the NFL during the season. He doesn't live in Vegas. He lives in Florida with his kids. It's like how are you giving? So in my eyes, I feel like Spytek should be the guy that should be running the show. And then Brady, I guess in certain moments where he could, he could be in the building, but I don't think he should have that much influence if he's not going to be there full time to really understand the team and what's going on and stuff like that. And it's just a weird situation, but that's just my thoughts on that. But man, salute to my guy Solo pulling up, man. Appreciate you coming through. Let's see what we got. We got everybody pulling up today.
Justin the DJ had a good question.
He said he expects Max to play for the Raiders this season. Is that not shutting down the trade rumors? Just asking. He expects
exactly.
Max. He expects me. Like I'm not saying what he's saying. Like what he did was basically say like, all right, like he just says, yeah, he expects him to play. Like I'm expecting him to play. We don't have enough great players, and you know he plays a premium position, and you can't have enough great players like Max. And I expect him to be a Raider next year. I expect him to be with the silver and black. Yeah, cool. That's fine, but it doesn't it doesn't necessarily shut down anything.
Exactly.
Like yeah. Go ahead.
Now it's like this. It's like I don't know. I don't know what you do for a living. Just another DJ. Or maybe you own your business, or maybe you work for somebody in the past. But let's say you had somebody that works for you, right? You have somebody that works for you, and you have some work that needs to get done, and you have a deadline to get that work done. It's like, yo, no, it's Friday, and it's going into the weekend. And you ask them like, yo, so I'm going to see you on Monday, right? You coming to work on Monday? And they're like, yeah, I expect to come to work on Monday. Like, you expect. Like, bro, you are wholly in control of whether or not this happens. Like, he doesn't have to expect anything because he is the person that controls whether or not Max is on this team, because he's the only person that can trade Max. Even if Max demands a trade, Max can't trade himself. Spike Tech is wholly in control of this situation. So when you say I expect it, like I expect it, like, no, you can guarantee it. Like, you can guarantee Max is on the Raiders roster next year. Even if he don't play, you can guarantee whether or not he's a Raider. So the fact that he said I expect it to be, that's just it's breadcrumbs. Just breadcrumbs. Oh yeah, I expect him to be a Raider.
Yeah.
At one point, didn't John Gruden say he expected Darren Waller to be on the team? And then 2 weeks later, he traded over a third-round pick. Like, expectations don't mean nothing.
Yeah. No, I think that was with Josh. I think he got traded with Ziegler traded Darren Waller, but
Ziegler. It was Ziegler.
Yeah.
No, was it Ziegler?
Yeah.
Traded Darren Waller. Okay, yeah, it was Ziegler. It was Ziegler because the whole waiting thing. I remember now. Yeah.
But to your point though, like this happens all the time. Like GMs come out and they're like non-committal. They're not going to come out and say what they really want to do because they're going to be showing their hand and everybody's going to be playing like. I don't know. To me, it's very simple. Does it mean that Max is going to get traded? No, but it still doesn't close the door. That's how I look at it. But
like, let me ask you this. Oh, like this is perfect. This would put a pin on it like this. Like if you're on a roller coaster, you're about to get on a roller coaster, and they're like, you're like, oh yeah, man, this latch, this gonna keep me secure in the ride, right? And he's like, yeah, I expect it to. Like, are you still getting on that roller coaster? You gonna be like, maybe not, maybe not.
Yeah, I need a guarantee for sure. I need a guarantee for sure. But hey, man, you already know what time it is, man. It's that
personal foul, 69, offense. He was giving them the business.
Hey, man. Hey, it's flag on the play, man. What we got this week? If it's your first time joining us, flag on the plays where anything that we find an issue, whether it's in football, outside of football, whatever the case may be, we got to give it a flag. And this week on flag on the play, what we got, Severe?
Yeah, so many things that I could have gave flags to. I tried to keep it football this week.
Okay.
So I stuck in the NFL, and there was some stuff going on within the Cardinals organization where there's some he said, she said stuff. And it's just, it's one of those situations where, you know what, the GM, we just talked about GM speak. Well, GM speak kind of backfired on somebody this time, and it didn't exactly work out how they expected it to. So, obviously the Cardinals, they've hired a new head coach. They kept their existing GM, but there is the lingering issue of whether or not Kyler Murray is going to be on the team, and it's very important to see how is he interacting with the team. That could determine, that could be some tea leaves on whether or not he's going to be back with the team next year. And the GM, doing his GM thing, they were asked him about, has he spoken to Kyler? He said, oh, yeah, I spoke to Kyler. And, obviously Kyler not happy with the season he had, but, he's ready to go. Yeah. That's some more GM type stuff. And then reports later came out that GM has not talked to Kyler since the season ended. So it's one of those situations where, look, Like that stuff can burn you, man. That stuff can burn you.
That's wild, man. So for those reports to come out, where do you think those reports came from? Because that's strange for them to come out after he had that interview, or after he assured the media that, he spoke to Kyler.
Yeah, definitely college people. Definitely college people. And what that kind of says is that when it's his people that are leaking stuff like that, it's almost like the Max stuff, where it's like a lot of stuff leaking from Max, or people that are close to Max. Jay Glazer saying, "Oh, Max not gonna play for the Raiders," and other people, "Oh, Max, he's not happy with the Raiders at all."
Yeah.
And then Max comes out and says, "Oh no, bro, so what are you talking about?" That's like players use their surrogates or people in their proximity to say the stuff that they really want to say that they can't say because it would, hurt their value, or hurt potential endorsements, or hurt their standing in the eyes of the fans.
Oh yeah.
So it's certain stuff they won't say themselves, but
100%.
I'll have Jay Glazer say it, or I'll have somebody say, or I'll say it, but I'll say it on background. Which is anybody that knows anything about journalism is that, like there's stuff on the record, and that's just you. The journalist can quote you. They can say, "Oh, Max Crosby said this." There's stuff that's off the record where they can't even report on it at all. They can't say anything. I'm telling you this in confidence. You can't even report it, but you know it. So that can kind of inform your other reporting. And then there's stuff on background where I'm telling you this, but you can't say I'm telling you this, but you can say that it was said. So I can tell you something like, I could be an NBA player. It's like, yo, man, I want to get traded. I can't stand this team. I want them to be traded. All this is on background.
Right.
So you as a reporter, you can go out there and say, my sources tell me, or sources close to this situation are saying this player wants to get traded. It could be me. It could be my brother. It could be my baby mama. It could be yada yada. But they can't say who it actually is. They can only say sources, or people, or people around the situation, or people with knowledge of the situation, or people with knowledge of the machinations in the Cardinals organization. Like, it has to be something like that. So that's what happens when you say it's on background. So that's what's happening here.
Yeah.
It's Kyler's people that Kyler is sending out there saying, yo, don't tell him I'm saying this. Don't tell him that you said it, but make sure this message is out there.
Oh, man, that's messy. That's a whole lot of drama. That's messy. Looks like it's heading. It's not heading in a direction of. It's heading in a direction of probably Kyler and the Cardinals probably going their separate ways. But
Cardinals will be number one pick next year, man. Like Mike LaFleur's my guy, but that division with that roster, bro, they two teams from that division were in the NFC Championship game.
I know.
Another one won the playoff game, went to the second round.
Yeah.
Bro, and the 49ers were hurt. Like, that's three teams that are basically locks for the playoffs next year. So, like, and they ain't got no quarterback. Look, bro, that team's about to be ass. They about to be picking number one. Welcome Arch Manning to Arizona.
Yeah. And the thing is, Raider fans, man, we shouldn't be surprised by what Kyle Murray and what this GM is going through, and all these reports and all this. We, as Raider fans, we've seen this firsthand with all the types of situations that happened with the Raiders. Literally last season, Chip Kelly and Pete Carroll. When Chip Kelly got fired, we all heard all the reports about Chip Kelly not doing his job properly. We all know where that came from. And then right after that, we all heard about, Pete Carroll and how his influence on the offense caused a lot of the issues this season. We all know where that came from. You know what I mean? So it's like, it is what it is, man. It happens all the time. But yeah, definitely flag on the play, man. That's a crazy situation. But hey, Cardinal fans, it's gonna be an ugly season. It's gonna be an ugly season for them. It's gonna be ugly. But
Jacoby Brissett started.
Yeah, Jacoby Brissett, or they might pick up the quarterback from the Packers, Malik
Willis.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Oh, that'll be bad too, though. If he ends up being the.
This is true. Cardinals on the same position as the Raiders in the division.
We got a better division though, look, because two of those teams were NFC Championship game. I think the Broncos made it.
Broncos made it. Look, I think Chargers made the playoffs. Yeah, they made the playoffs.
Chargers made the playoffs. Yeah, the Chiefs were out, but that's because Mahomes was hurt.
Yeah, but then the thing is, the Chiefs are one of those like they're gonna bounce back, bro. It's Mahomes. It's Mahomes and Reed. You know what I mean? So it's like it just adds to how tough
I expect the Broncos to take a step back though.
Yeah.
I think the Broncos are frauds,
bro.
I don't think the Rams. The Rams ain't frauds. I for sure don't think Seattle is, and I don't think the Niners are either. I think the Broncos are frauds. To be honest with you.
We'll see. I think the Niners, they're trying to go all in right now. They're trying to capitalize on a closing window. Some might argue that window is closed, but if you're trying to trade for Max, you're trying to make a run. Did you hear Spy say he hasn't talked to Geno?
Yeah, but I wouldn't expect him to though.
I don't think nobody cares though. That's one of the most I don't think anybody cares that Spy didn't talk to Geno. Like I don't think anybody cares at this point because we all kind of know that where it's headed is they're going their separate ways at the end of the
More
day.
likely than that.
But hold up, quick question. Do you think Geno gets a starting job somewhere else?
Cardinals? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Not after this year. He'd have to beat somebody out, and he'd have to beat somebody out like decisively. Like maybe he goes to a team where their quarterback is hurt. Like maybe I don't know when Daniel Jones expects to be back.
Yeah,
because he got hurt. I don't know. I don't know what Patrick Mahomes' status is. So it has to be a situation like that where he goes there as a backup and then he maybe starts the year as a starter, gives himself an opportunity to win to showcase himself before the normal starter comes back. It has to be something like that.
Yeah. We'll see how it shakes out. He said he did say Geno didn't get great protection. Yeah, he ain't coming back, man. He done. I don't think Geno wants to come back either. So I think it's like one of those mutual situations. So they're gonna release him. I mean, if he was willing to take a role where he can mentor a quarterback like Mendoza for a year until they cut him, because then I think next year there is no like dead cap hit. But I think if they cut him this year, I think there's like an $18 million dead cap hit, which technically the type of contract that he signed ain't that bad for one season. You just get a dead cap hit with the amount of cap space they have. I think they might save like about $8 million, but there is going to be an $18 million dead cap hit if they cut him this after this season. But if they hold him for one season, I think they don't owe him anything. But it's just the way it went down, the personality of Geno, his ego. It's just cut.
I don't know. I mean, I haven't heard about anybody in the locker room having any situation with having any bad blood with them, as far as I know.
No, I don't think so either. But it's just one of those situations where I think the relationship with the fan base, you could just see it. It just the way it ended. It was just a weird season for him. I mean, even the off season, what did he say at that little high school game that he was at?
That's why they pay me the big bucks. Something like that.
When I seen that, I was like, yeah, this is not. That didn't. It didn't. I don't know, man. It just didn't sound right. It didn't sound.
Yeah, right. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I think the issue Raiders have run into is that they let they let the fan base control too much of what they do. Honestly, so I was like, I wouldn't give a flying fuck what the fans say. If this was best for my team, I'm doing what's best for my team. Y'all can, y'all don't like it, then.
But it's just a combination of he had a terrible season and the fans are disgusted about it. It's just it's like you're not even a fan favorite.
Exactly.
You can't be on the bench and the fan can just. You're over here flipping the fans off and we're like, what's going on? You can't be on the bench. He's gonna be on the bench. He's gonna be on the bench and he's gonna be arguing
fans in the back, talking about people's mamas.
Oh, and Raider fans is gonna be hella ignorant and just they're gonna be belligerent. They're gonna be talking a lot of mess. And he's gonna be up there. He's gonna be talking trash on the sideline. He's gonna be talking trash.
Nah,
Talking about
facts.
that's why
That's
they pay me
18
the big
mil though,
bucks.
man.
That's why
That's
they pay
18
me the
million
big
though,
bucks.
man. That's 18 million. I don't want to take that. I don't want to take that L. But like sometimes you got to take 2 steps backwards to take 1 step backwards to take 2 steps forward. So we might got to do that. But
Man, it is kind of crazy though. Like they traded Geno, they signed Darnold, and it was the Super Bowl.
yeah, I mean same thing. Like they got rid of Pete Carroll 2 years later. They in the Super Bowl, bro. They got rid of Tyler. What's crazy is that this is the most messed up thing, bro. It's not funny. I should be laughing about it, but
Yeah.
it's like Tyler Lockett got there the year after they won the Super Bowl, and then they got rid of Tyler Lockett, and then they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That's like crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's wild, man. But hey, man, we appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Salute to the night crew pulling up, man. The late night show is back tonight, man. We'll come back to the the swing shift, as we like to call it, man. It's the swing shift.
Yeah.
But we appreciate everybody pulling up. Just make sure to clock in, as we like to say it, man. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and hit that notification bell.
But no one's be kicking themselves though. Think about this. They offered Geno the contract, basically the same contract he signed with the Raiders, and he turned it down to go play with Pete Carroll, bro. Think about that.
Yeah. I think there's more to it than that too. I think there's more to it than that. I don't think it's just as simple as because there were some things there, like, I don't know if he felt like he didn't feel like he was wanted by the team. Like they weren't really.
Well, it was because of the contract, but they offered him essentially what they offered Sam Darnold, and he basically told him no.
Yeah, I don't know how, like, because there was an interview. I think they interviewed him about like his time with Seattle, and then now he's a quarterback and his expectations of the season. And I think like he just said that last year, heading last year into where he knew that the contract was looming over, the contract negotiations were happening. Yeah. It didn't go well. He just didn't feel like he was wanted by the team, the coaching staff, the GM. It was just like a weird. And I get where the Seattle's coming from. Seattle's like, man, bro, you're replaceable. Yeah.
Well, he felt bad because I think it was a bit his own immaturity, but his problem was that it's like in the league, and then this is one of the reasons why I say we have to trade Max, because in the league, you never let somebody that you want or you value, or the perception is that you don't let somebody that you want or you value, you don't let their contract end. Like that lame duck year, you get something done that year or at that time. You don't let it get to the end of their contract where they could potentially walk away. And so Geno felt that he had earned an extension already.
Right.
And they were like, well, you played well, but not for us. Mm-hmm. So like, or not for necessarily this regime. So like, we don't want this year to play out. And then that offer was on the table, and Geno still was like, I'm gonna go over here with this 89-year-old man. And the rest is history. I'm sure Seattle is ecstatic about the decision.
Yeah. No, facts. And it's funny too, because I remember The Athletic, every year they come out with quarterback rankings, and then like they have like different tiers. Yeah, tier one is like, probably going to be 1 or 2 quarterbacks in that tier 1, you know what I mean? Or 3 max. Then they have tier 2, tier 3, and tier 4, and so on and so forth. And I think like Geno was like tier 3 or tier 4, but right next to him was like Sam Darnold. But it was like an interesting quote from a GM or an exec in the league, was like, well, Geno is the type of quarterback you would want on a bad team, but Darnold is the type of quarterback you would want on a good team.
It makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, I think we talked about that. I think you brought that up before, I want to say.
Yeah, and I thought that was funny, but now watching how it played out, I thought he was, I feel like he, like, I don't know if he was telling the truth or like, he wasn't telling the truth because Geno played terrible with the Raiders.
He did play terrible on a bad team, yeah.
He played terrible, but I think I think the last few years, they're giving him benefit of doubt, like how he changed. He was able to like come in and kind of resurrect his career. But it's like I said, man, it's bro. Darnold takes his place and they win a Super Bowl. Like that's wild, man. But hey, at the end of the day, man, it is what it is. Raiders are moving on. They're getting their quarterback. Mendoza most likely is going to be the guy. But we're not done yet. We got notable quotables. This is where we play quotes that we find interesting, that we want to, have a conversation about. And Severe, if you want to give an intro to this first notable quotable.
Yeah, the first notable quotable is it was from a conversation between a few different people, but the main people you'll hear in this quote is one is a voice that'll be very familiar to you. It was Mike Mayock, former GM of the Raiders, and the other one is Mark Ellens, who spent 12 years as a scout for the Colts from I think 2001 to 2013. Then he spent a few years as a scout for the Jaguars, and they're essentially just talking about the value of the quarterback position, how a weak class like this one, how that affects the how teams view quarterbacks. And then Mark Ellens says something very interesting at the end of the quote.
All right, here we go.
And put yourself in the head coach and GM's mind. If you don't have a franchise quarterback, you're just another day closer to getting fired. Reality in the NFL, right? So all of a sudden, all these quarterbacks drop out. There's no Manning, there's no Dante Moore. It's not a great quarterback class. So are we going to artificially push guys up value-wise? Happens every year.
Correct. And I think the big thing too is if you're the number one pick in the draft and you're seriously taking him, you have to be firm in your belief that this kid is a franchise quarterback. I think this kid's a good quarterback. I myself am a little bit leery that is he really worth the number one pick in the draft?
Yeah, like I said, bro, I literally everything that I predicted that we were gonna say about Mendoza, I already knew it was gonna happen, how it was gonna play out. Look, I think Mendoza's gonna be the pick. I think Tom Brady is gonna like him, Mendoza. I think he has the qualities, even the things that SpyTech described in the qualities in the quarterback when he was asked, were all qualities that Mendoza exemplified. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that soon.
We'll talk about that in a second. But that being said, like, it's hard for me. It's look, they're all going to talk about Mendoza's ceiling. They're going to talk about like how good he's going to be this the entire offseason. Is he the guy that you take? But the Raiders literally have no choice.
Exactly.
They have to take him.
Exactly. And I think that's what they were kind of alluding to. Whereas like that's what Mike Mayock was saying in the beginning. Like, if you don't have one of these guys, each day that goes by, bro, that's closer and closer to your expiration date as a GM. So, and this is a weak class. Depending on it really depends on how you feel about Mendoza, whether or not from the Raiders' position, this could be the strongest class in years, right? If you feel that strongly about Mendoza, and you in position to take him, hey, this is a strong ass draft class to me, But overall, it's a weak class, so that will push some guys up. Does it push up a Mendoza? And maybe in people's eyes, it does. In other people's eyes, he's just that good of a prospect. Will it push up a guy like Ty Simpson? Most likely. Will it push up a guy like Nussmeier or Klubnik or Carson Beck, who I think most people have Carson Beck as the QB3 right now? Like, will it push those guys up into places where they likely shouldn't have been drafted? I mean, probably. But that's just the nature of the beast. If you don't have a quarterback, as Mike Mayock said, you're one day closer to getting fired every single day. So we overdraft these guys all the time, and could Mendoza be just that situation? Yes, but it could be a situation where he's just that good of a prospect. I think that people will talk themselves into falling in love or with that situation based on their options. And if you only have You know, if all you have available to you to eat is peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and that's all you can eat, you're gonna tell yourself that you love peanut butter and jelly. Like, oh, I love this because it's all you. At that point, it's like that's all you really have. And the Raiders, for a lot of Raiders fans, you know, like this is all they really have in terms of quarterback because it's been so bad, you know, for so many years.
Yeah, and then you gotta look at it. What are the options? Are the Raiders are gonna go into the offseason and what they're gonna sign Malik Willis, do the same thing over again, and get a free agent quarterback and a Band-Aid quarterback or a quarterback that is a Band-Aid but is a potentially could be a bridge quarterback. Yeah, been there, done that. They have the number 1 pick. There's an argument to be had to say like, all right, are they gonna be in the position to get a quarterback this high? You know what I mean? Yeah. There is an argument to be like, hey, yeah, next year's draft might be better, but are they gonna be able to put together a package to get that quarterback? We've seen in years past that they're not able to because it didn't make sense for them to do that because you look at their team, like, what, are you going to trade 10 first-round picks and the team is trash and you bring a quarterback there and what you're going to have nothing around them? Like, nah. Right now, you have an opportunity to get a quarterback. You got to do it. You got to make the move. I think he's good at – to me, I think he's – can you argue, like, is he that typical number 1 pick? Sure, but, I mean, he has – he checks a lot of boxes. Like I mean 6'5", 225, you know what I mean? Yeah. Can he add some weight? Probably, you know what I mean? But I think that as he grows into his body, as he get older, like he's probably gonna add at least 10 pounds. What, 6'5", 235? You know what I mean? He's 230.
Yeah.
235
I mean,
to 10 pounds.
I think he's 22. He's about to be 23. I don't expect him to add a whole bunch more weight. Yeah. Because I think like his frame, I don't think he's filled out yet, but I think his frame is, you know, like he's built solidly. I don't think he's like has a poor build. So like just and from terms of like a mobility standpoint, I don't know how much more weight because you get too bulky, then it gets to kind of.
Well, I'm just saying 5 to 10 pounds.
Yeah. I think he can add that.
So if he's 225, if he's 225 right now, if he's 225.
Yeah, I think he can get to like 230, 235. I think he can get there if he wanted to.
6'4", he's 6'4", 6'5".
6'5". I think he's a solid 6'5".
Yeah, 6'4", 6'5". And then you to me, I think he has a good to very good arm. That's just me. I think he has good to very good. To me, it's good to very good. He can make all the throws.
Exactly.
Like, you know, does he have a rocket arm? No. But does he have elite athleticism? No. But he still checks the boxes. All right, he has a good, a very good arm. He's athletic enough. He can move around. He can hurt you with his legs. He can get first downs with his leg. Cool. Yeah. That's fine. So, it seems like he's a smart guy. You know what I mean? So there's some potential there for him to develop into like a cerebral type of quarterback, which I think that's what's pushing him. If you can make a case for him, you could probably say like, hey, this guy has potential maybe to develop into like one of those types of quarterbacks that can really beat you with his mind. Like, but it's hard to it's hard to project that.
Yeah, because that is hard to predict. Yeah,
it's really hard to predict.
Because intelligence doesn't always equate. Because Ryan Fitzpatrick is a Harvard graduate. You know, he's like he was never confused with a franchise quarterback. Yes, and that's the thing with Mendoza is that like you can convince yourself on either side of what he is, because he's in just about every area he's like a C plus B, right? Every area you can say, oh, he's good. And so you can say like, okay, what is he really going to be? Is he a franchise quarterback, or he's just a starting level quarterback? Like, you can question that, and like you can question whether or not you want to draft just a good average starter at number 1 overall. But you can also talk yourself into like, you know, hey, I think this guy has so much more to grow and he can do all of this stuff. So I think like, you know, sometimes the sum of all the parts are greater than the parts themselves. And even though he's like just a B across the board or a C plus across the board in all these areas, I think when you look at it, the totality of the picture, that puts him way up here, and so you can kind of talk yourself into that as well. And it's also a situation with the Raiders where sometimes this the old saying, "A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush." Is like hey, you can take the chance and not take this guy that's a known quantity and that you're absolutely in position to take, and you can risk trading the pick and potentially not being able to get a guy next year. And that depends on how you feel about the class next year, because you can make an argument that QB3 or QB4 next year is just as good of a prospect as Mendoza is this year. But then you get into that projection and will the guys come out? But then you also look at, well, Mendoza wasn't ranked highly last year coming into this year. So there's going to be some Mendozas that, shoot up draft boards too. So there's all these different things that are going on. And you get to a place where there are so many variables where you just say, you know what, I'm just going to go the safe route and just take this guy. Or you can do what the Bears did, where they traded out a number one pick and they traded their pick, and their pick ended up being Rome Odunze, and the pick that they traded the number one overall pick for ended up being the number one overall pick again next year, and they were able to get Caleb.
Yeah, but see that's the difference, because think about where the Bears were as in a franchise. They were adding a lot of talent. They had a young quarterback in Justin Fields. Now, Justin Fields right now, he's a
I had already told you about Justin Fields.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, they had a young quarterback they still were trying to figure out. They drafted in previous year's draft, right? In a Justin Fields. So in their minds, like a Carolina Panthers trading up to get the number one pick was like, oh, okay, well, we feel like you guys are going to be trash. So, like, you're going to give us. I'm just saying.
What do you feel the Jets are going to be, though? Like, that's the most likely trade part. What do you think the Jets are going to be? Trash. Trash.
Yeah,
they're gonna be trash.
I don't know because we didn't look. It's a completely different situation because we don't have a young quarterback. We don't have a quarterback at all. Like you can make a case, whether you like it or not. You can make a case back then how they felt about Justin Fields was like, all right, we need another year for us to evaluate Justin Fields, and then from there we'll see if we'll take a quarterback after this year. But in the meantime, we're going to accumulate all this talent, add talent to the roster by getting all these premium picks. Cool. We don't have anything. We don't have no leverage. Like, we don't have nothing to, like, evaluate from the quarterback position. In the last few years, we've been kind of going through that free agency, trading quarterback. We've signed quarterbacks in free agency. They've traded for quarterbacks, and now they don't have any quarterback. Aiden O'Connell doesn't count. None of the quarterbacks on the roster don't count. Geno Smith is likely gone. So it's like all signs point to the Raiders getting the pick. And another big sign that the Raiders are going to draft Mendoza, Clint Kubiak. Clint Kubiak doesn't take this job unless, like, Mendoza was going to be here to be the quarterback. He's a top offensive coach, top offensive assistant, top offensive candidate in this year's coaching pool. He could have easily been like, nah, I'd rather stay than to go to take the Raiders job where they don't take a quarterback. I'm sure in the interview process, that quarterback question came up. Like, how do you envision your offense with this quarterback? How do you envision your offense with Mendoza? Come on, let's be real. They have the number one pick. They can say that. They don't have to beat around the bush. So I just think for the Raiders, it just makes sense for the Raiders to draft a quarterback. I think the Bears situation was completely different. They had a young quarterback. Whether you like Justin Smith, at the time, Justin Smith was a young quarterback. The fan base were still like the fan base was still the Chicago fan base still liked Justin Fields. Like, they still believed in the talent at the time. So it was like, all right, let's wait another year. Boom, boom. And then they ended up getting the number one pick. And then at that point, they're like, all right, yeah, we're not messing around this year. We already got our picks from the Carolina. Caleb Williams dropped in their lap. The rest is history.
I had already told y'all about Justin Fields, but I had already warned y'all. And this Raider like, let's bring Justin Fields over here. I had already told y'all what Justin Fields was. I already told you what it was.
Yeah.
So, but look, yeah, I mean, I feel all of that. Like I said, sometimes it's safer to go the safe route. I mean, the fact that we don't have a young quarterback here, that you can look at that as a disadvantage, or you can look at it as an advantage of where us not having a quarterback would almost guarantee us having another top 5 pick. So it depends on how you want to look at it. Us not having a Justin Fields or not having a young quarterback that we want to take a look at, or a quarterback we think is any good, that could actually play in our favor where we'll for sure be picking top 5 again. But
LS though, hey, look, LS, but Caleb was not the only quarterback to come out that draft. Jane Daniels came out that draft. Drake May. So you just switch the quarterback.
Yeah.
So to me, the Bears kind of made it smart. It was smart on their part. They probably you can make a case. You could probably say like, hey, they didn't believe in Justin Fields, but they just used that as an excuse to make the deal because they felt like, all right, we need more talent. We need to accumulate more talent. All right, we're gonna trade down. Yeah. We're gonna take this trade package. We're gonna have Justin Fields as starter for 1 year, and then we're probably gonna get our guy.
Yeah. And then they had, even if they, and by that same token, if they have so much ammunition at that point to move up in the class it's a very similar situation, almost, where that quarterback class, it was, the only difference is that, this situation would be exactly the same if Dante Moore came out, right? Because remember, it was Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, 1 and 2, and then third was a distant third. I think it ended up being, was it Will Levis that got taken, or was it Hendon? It was either.
No, it was Anthony Richardson.
AR. It was AR-15. Oh, so yeah, so even then, there's more QBs in that draft class, and they were still able to get a nice haul for their pick. In this class, we're the only show in town.
Yeah, we
are the only show in town. It's like, remember when people was paying like $5,000 to get like the vaccination for COVID-19?
Yeah,
like, they don't want to die. That's what it is right now. Like if you're the only show in town, the price goes way up. So we can demand, and it'll be a little bit different because if the most likely suitor for the pick will be the Jets, they're only moving up 1 spot. So maybe you don't get like a crazy haul, but you still get 2 first and a player or 2 first in the mid-round pick, and you're only moving back 1 spot. And it gives you opportunity to, hey, if you want to move again, you can potentially move again if you want to. And then, you double up. But in that class, if you have 2 picks, they would have, even if they didn't get the number 1 overall pick, they could have got number 2, which was Jaden. Could have got number 3, been Drake, or, they get however they feel about one of those other quarterbacks. And then if not, they got 2 picks in the top 10. They picked at 9. They picked the Doomsday at 9. You got 2 picks in the top 10. You got the ammunition to move up. Yeah. So you can move up. Houston did the exact same thing when they drafted CJ number 2, then they traded up to number 3 and took Will Anderson. So you have the flexibility to make some moves.
Yeah. Just another DJ says, what are the chances the Raiders look at Ty Simpson pre-injury film and think he's better than Mendoza?
Hell no, to the no.
Man, if they do that, I'm gonna be so disgusted if they. Well, all right. Well, what you're probably saying, the scenario that will play out would probably be like, it would be a trade down.
Yeah,
they'll trade down and they'll take Ty Simpson later on. But
yeah, the better question would be that is Mendoza and Malachi Fields better than Ty Simpson and Makai Lemon and an additional first-round pick next year, or Ty Simpson and Denzel Boston and another first-round pick next year? That would be the situation if they wanted Ty Simpson, if they felt that highly, if it was a close enough grade between Ty Simpson and Mendoza. That would be the question.
That would be the biggest curveball ever if they did that. But that is some Raider stuff, though. That's some Raider stuff. Raiders always do things that you be like, Like what? I can't believe. But I'm not thinking about that.
There was a time when Ty Simpson was the number 1 quarterback on draft boards.
I just don't like him. I just don't like how big he. I just don't like when I look at him. The reality of him is like, damn, like he's not that big. He's small. Doesn't have a big arm.
He's only 1 year starter. He's a little bit older. Look, I'm not a super fan of Ty Simpson like that. So if I had to pick between Mendoza and Ty, even if it's Ty Simpson and but different. If it's Ty Simpson and Jordan and Carnell Tate, I think a little bit harder about that one. But even if it's Ty Simpson, like I'm between those two, I'm taking Mendoza. But but there are teams that felt very strongly about Ty Simpson. There are still some people that feel very strongly about Ty Simpson, the kind of offense he ran, like the fact that he was essentially the driving force behind that offense. He didn't have like a hella run game to kind of supplement him. So there are some people that feel strongly about Ty Simpson. I'm not personally not one of those people, but I can understand.
Oh, Dante, we gonna get Dante on soon. Hopefully, we gonna get him to talk about that. That's crazy. I don't know about that, man. I rather take Mendoza, but it is what it is. There was a time where Drew Aller was considered sure first rounder. Damn, if he would have came out last year, I think he would have went in the first round.
Yeah,
that's crazy. That is
there was a time when
that's 30 for 30 documentary. Need to be studied.
There's time nobody thought Mendoza was a first round pick. So, I mean, like that's the ebbs and flows of the college football game. That's the ebbs and flows. Even the beginning of the year, bro, through 5 weeks of college football, nobody thought Mendoza was the first overall pick.
No, I think people were still trying to figure out, but he just kept. They kept winning. He kept checking every box. He kept playing big in big moments. He kept playing big against big opponents. Like won the Heisman, won the national championship. Like it's just like, all right, at some point. I was hearing talk back then that Nussmeier was being number one. I think going into the college season, I think Nussmeier was one of those highly rated quarterbacks too.
It was Arch, Nussmeier, Klubnik, and Aller. Those were the guys.
Salute. We're not done yet though, man. We got another notable quotable. Severe, what we got, man?
Yeah, me kind of alluded to it before. Spy Tech, they asked about what are some of the qualities he looks for in a franchise quarterback, and if you listen to his description, it sounds very familiar.
A pure love, passion for the game of football, a great teammate, tons of humility, a selflessness to him, a guy that can really connect a building, beyond just the locker room, but really connect an entire building. And, somebody that's going to take the jobs. I mean, there's a ton of pressure on them. There's a ton of expectations, and they're going to hit that, right between the eyes. They're going to embrace it, and you're going to get their best every day. And that it's not always you're not going to win every game. You're not going to complete every pass, but that you are getting their best every day.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Mendoza is going to be the pick, but we'll see. I mean, like Spy Tech is a guy that like he's gonna have a poker face to the very end. He's gonna try to. So to your point, man, they might look at every option, but it would be hard. It's hard for me to believe that Clint Kubiak took the job, not believing in Mendoza. Like it's hard. Like
Clint Kubiak's never developed a young quarterback.
What would who is his answer at quarterback? Like who would be the quarterback? Like if there was a quarterback that he was connected to, maybe in this year's free agency class, then I could be like, you know what? Maybe
there is.
Nah, you go. What you gonna say? Derek Carr?
Hell no.
Well, there's a connection there. There is a connection. Derek Carr.
There's a connection there. The other guy, I don't want either. But there is a connection to another guy that will be free agent come March 11th.
Who?
Beam me up, Scotty.
Who are you talking about?
Captain Kirk.
Oh, man, if they did that, though. with no well, I mean, they could still do that as have a veteran presence and still draft Mendoza.
I think his deal is like Russell Wilson too, where there's the offset language where Atlanta's still on the hook for all that money, so he can go somewhere else, sign a minimum deal. I think the language of his contract works out like that. So there's a situation where that could be the case where we get him super cheap, and that kind of offsets some of the money that we lose from some of the dead money that we lose from cutting Geno. So that's kind of offset, and we still draft Mendoza. Let him be the mentor. I don't know if Kirk is really the mentoring type. Kind of heard about the relationship with him and Bennett. So
if they
we'll
did
see.
that though, what happens if they did that for like a 7th round pick?
For JJ McCarthy? It's a waste of a 7th round pick. I told people about him too, and people was like, "Oh," but but that's what. There's some people I know that compared Mendoza to McCarthy, and that all he did was he won. He won a national championship, and he's super efficient, and no turnovers and all this stuff. And it's like, okay, so. But I think Mendoza's way better than McCarthy. But there are people that I've heard make that comparison.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Look, there's gonna be a lot of talk. Like I said, for me, I think it's simple and plain. And the thing is, Mendoza fits what Brady likes. I could see him liking a Mendoza. Like, it just, to me, it's Mendoza. But if they trade down, that would be the most shocking thing. But that's what the Raiders do sometimes. They'll do something like that, some crazy stuff.
Brady
like
and Kubiak. I think he fits with Brady and Kubiak.
Exactly.
I think I can see him meshing. I can see him meshing with both of those guys.
Like I said, Kubiak wouldn't take the job unless I'm sure Mendoza was part of that conversation, was part of that interview process, part of an interview. Like, hey, so how do you feel about Mendoza? Like, how would he look in your offense? Boom.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Tom Brady, from all these interviews that we heard about quarterbacks and him talking about what he likes, what he looks for, Mendoza kind of fits that.
Yeah.
It just makes sense, but we'll see, man. Like I said, it's the whole offseason. They're going to be talking about Mendoza's ceiling and, trade down when what could be more beneficial to a team like the Raiders because, the lack of talent and this, that, and the third. But I just don't think they're going to pull the trigger. But, that's just me. But we're not done yet. We're not done yet. We appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to click in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and hit that notification bell. I'm not sure Kirk would want to be a mentor either. Yeah, he didn't like that situation with Atlanta. I think the Atlanta situation, I think he came in there to be the starter, and he just didn't like how Atlanta went ahead and drafted a quarterback when he felt like that was not going to be the case. So I think there was probably bad blood off that situation. Let's see. Kubiak brought Janeko over to help assist him with the QB. I'm sure. Yeah. I know. I don't know if Derek.
Wait. You mean the same QB, same guy that was QB coaching with Chicago, with Justin Fields? That Janeko? that's the guy. The guy who QB coaching the Getty. That's the guy we're talking about.
Damn.
I'm playing with you.
What's real? What's not, man?
What's
real? What's not, man? What we got this week, man? Severe. What we got?
So what's real, what's not, is that Fernando Mendoza will start less than half of the games for the Raiders next year.
Oh, real quick, man. Hey, man, appreciate the super chat, my guy. Raider Smoke.
Oh yeah, man.
Damn, R.I.P. Rondell Moore. Sad situation. Oh man, I don't know what happened, but. Yeah, man. If that's the case, man, rest in peace.
He's free agent receiver. I think he was with the Vikings last year. I think he started. I think he spent some years with the Cardinals. He's only 25, man. Yeah. It's a sad situation, man. Sad situation. You never know.
Oh, damn. Okay. I gotta look at the details, man. That's crazy, man. But rest in peace, man. If that's the case, man, Rondell Moore. Wide receiver, right? Wide receiver.
Yeah, wide receiver.
I think he was wide receiver for the Cardinals, I think, at some point. Right?
He was wide receiver, yeah. Last year he was with the Vikings. He was a free
Okay.
agent. He was one of the guys I was looking at to see, okay, maybe we might bring in.
Dang.
And yeah, man. Yeah.
Damn, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, man. Like I said, only 25 years old, man.
Damn, that's crazy. But what was your what's real, what's not statement this week, Sabir?
My what's real, what's not is that Fernando Mendoza will start less than half of the games for the Raiders next year.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one because there was one thing that I noticed that Spytek said that caught my interest is like we're not even going to try to rush him out there.
Yeah,
but it just depends on who's the veteran quarterback that they're gonna possibly pick up, maybe to mentor him or to at least maybe start in the beginning. Man. So you're saying he's not gonna start half the games or at less than half the games?
Yeah, he will start less than half the games.
Damn, and then Tom Brady, and every time he talks about quarterbacks, like he thinks that they should even start right away. Huh. I'm gonna say that's not real. In today's day and age, I think quarterbacks they go out there and play. So less than half, like he's for sure gonna play more than that. So I'm gonna say not real. Not real. What you got?
Yeah. I'm gonna say that's real because we ain't drafted. No, I'm gonna say not real too. I'm gonna say not real. He's gonna win. Who is he gonna compete? He gonna be competing against. I can't even say Cam Miller because Cam Miller gone. He gonna be competing against Aiden O'Connell and some other schmuck that we pick up off a free agent in free agency. Like he ain't gonna be competing against nobody. He gonna win the job outright, and they gonna let him do his thing.
Yeah. That's the thing is like I don't know who. I think they're gonna bring a veteran guy. He's gonna probably compete. He's probably gonna do some things. I think what they're gonna do is they're gonna obviously they're not gonna force him to go out there. They're gonna have him earn everything, and then hopefully the offensive line right off the bat is gonna be a strength for this team. They're able to run the football. Year one, I think the Raiders are going to be a running football team. They got to be. They have to be. They have no choice. They were supposed to be that this year, but sometimes things don't go according to plan. But hey, man, we appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to clock in at this point, clock out, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Chill Ray says, unless the veteran mentor has a Daniel Jones, Sam Darnold type of season, Mendoza is going to be the starting quarterback by October, in my opinion. FX. Yeah. That's the thing. We don't even know who's going to be the veteran guy. Now, if it's Kirk Cousins, then I'll be like, it might make me think about it a little bit. But I don't think Kirk is going to come to the Raiders. I think he's going to go to maybe like the Cardinals, a team that needs, or the Jets, or just a team that they need a quarterback. They need a quarterback. Yeah. And there's no question that he's going to be the starting quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the main thing is that because he wants to go somewhere where he can start.
I like this
for sure.
I like this.
Flacco is 137 years old.
Yeah, I like it because I like the veteran. Like I feel like it's a good mentor, good.
Yeah.
Teach him how to be a pro. Like he's been there, done that. Like he's been successful, played big, and he's won a Super Bowl, played big in playoff moments. So he's come in and been productive in the NFL. He's had a long career. Like that's a nice little veteran. But then that would basically, I would have to bet on Mendoza starting from the beginning.
Yeah, exactly. See, and then I think Flacco said it before. Somebody else said it too. I think Tannehill said it as well. But Flacco said it before too, where Flacco was like, "Yeah, it's not my job. It's not my job to get this dude ready. It's my job to go out there and be the best quarterback I can be." So Flacco said it previously. I forgot who the quarterback was.
I like this too. Jameis.
I love that.
That would be nice.
I love that.
Is he a free agent? Is he a free agent?
I don't know if he's. I don't know. I think him and Mendoza would go work well together too. Because Jameis is kind of goofy. You know, he's like very religious too. You can hear that with Mendoza. He's kind of a goofy guy, but he's also very religious. So I think that would be a good dynamic.
But then if Jameis came to the Raiders and he would be the veteran backup, then I would bet on Mendoza.
For sure.
Right from the beginning, unless we want to see pick six.
I don't know though, because I mean, you get Jameis in it, because Sam Darnold had a problem with turnovers too in the past before he got with Kyle Shanahan and got to the 49ers. So maybe you get him in that right system. Jameis has talent for talent. Jameis is more talented than Mendoza. Just arm talent,
Yeah, I like Jameis because he's such a team player.
Facts.
Like he's such a good locker room dude, team player, and like you could tell like he had a good relationship with Jackson Dart. You know what I mean? Like I just that would be a nice little pickup for a veteran presence. But
I love that.
But I'll give Mendoza the edge though to start.
I think they would start I don't know. I think if it's a true wide open competition, I think Jameis will win it. But
Mendoza was catching. But Winston was catching touchdowns.
Exactly. I don't think it's gonna be a wide open competition though. I think it's gonna be a competition where if it's close or if Mendoza loses slightly, they're gonna start Mendoza.
Yeah. Man, hey man, we appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to clock in at this point, clock out, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Man, great show, great conversation. We'll be back at it later this week. Definitely tune in. Around the Shield will return. Hopefully we'll get a guest this week. You know what I mean? Just to change it up, get a different perspective. But either way, and another thing too, I've been talking about this for a minute. I want to open up the phone lines again. So hopefully, if not this week, hopefully we set that up. So I'm gonna make sure I'll try to see if I can make that happen. But either way, we're going live on both our channels. So if you haven't already, make sure to clock in. At this point, clock out. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and hit that notification bell. For everybody watching the replay, definitely leave a comment. We read the comments. We appreciate the support. Hype the video too. That might be an option. If you see that option, hype the video. That helps us out a lot as well. Severe, man, let the people know where they can find you, what to look forward to, all that good stuff.
Man, you guys know what it is, man. The Severe Raider here on YouTube, Snapchat, TikTok, X, IG, Kick, Twitch, everywhere. The Severe Raider, man. How's your boy? Tuesdays and Thursdays, the 50-50 show and Around the Shield, man. Around the Shield, we'll be making this triumphant return this Thursday. And then Sundays and Wednesdays, my guys, Christian Protect the Shield and 805 Raider in the Raider War Room. And if you're going to be in Pittsburgh for the draft, holla at your boy. Hit me on IG. I will be out there. Holla at me. We're gonna do something. I'll meet up with some people. If some people in here and I need to put hands on, man, y'all know where to find me too, man. So just hit me on IG, man.
Yeah, man. Hey, look, you'll find us. Hey, make sure you find me everywhere. Obviously, PharoahNFL, especially YouTube. If you haven't subscribed, definitely go ahead and do so. Follow both of us all over social media, but also follow Around the Shield on X and on IG. Support us on there. You'll find us the latest and greatest with the Raiders, podcast clips. You'll see that all over. Man, we appreciate everybody coming through, supporting the show. We love doing this, so we appreciate the support. But yeah, man, we'll be back at it later this week, man. Hopefully Around the Shield. Definitely check us out. Appreciate everybody coming through. SoCal, yeah, man, SoCal Sal, man, one of our day ones, man. Great show, man. Appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it, man. Later, bro. My guy Smoke, man. Hope you get well soon, man. Appreciate you coming through. Dub City, yeah, I don't know if they doing too well right now.
They ain't Dub City no more, brother.
I don't know if they doing too well. Is that the new fight? Garcia versus.
I'd love to see it. I mean, the fight everybody wants to see is Garcia versus Haney. That's the fight. That's the fight just because there's so much bad blood, so many storylines. But I'd love to see that fight, and I'd love to see that fight. I'd love to see the Shakur versus Garcia fight too. That'd be big because Ryan Garcia has hella offense, explosive, power puncher, fast hands. But Shakur is one of the best defensive fighters in the game today. So that'd be be a nice little chess match. So
Yeah.
but that'd be a better boxing match probably. But the fight everybody wants to see is Haney versus Garcia.
Yeah. Also, hey, we can't forget about the NFL Combine. Like we were saying earlier in the show, this Thursday, I think it opens up, ends on this Sunday. Is there anything that you're looking forward to see from an NFL Combine? Some of these guys run. I know everybody's going to be paying attention to the 40 times for some of these guys in the secondary, the skill position players, running back. Well, for us, we're obviously going to be paying attention to wide receivers and corners too. I'm not going to lie. Don't rule out corner because Raiders secondary could need some help too as well. So we'll see. I mean, there's anybody that you're looking at to see just to double check, like, how fast, how explosive, how.
Your boy, man. We already talked about him. I want to see what I want to see what Denzel runs. Because if Denzel runs slow, if he runs like low 4.5s, we got a chance. Yeah, we got a chance. And I don't even think his game is predicated on speed. So I'll be cool.
Because he's a football speed guy. He's like
exactly.
He got football speed.
So if he runs slow, that means the door might be creeping open. But it may not matter because remember, Tetaroa didn't run super fast either. But I still told everybody like, yo, he's the dude. And so it may not make that much of a difference. I don't know if Bane. Who I want to see. We ain't gonna take him, but I think he's just gonna destroy the combine. Arvell Reese. I think Arvell Reese is gonna go bananas in the combine.
Yeah, for sure. And his other teammate too.
Oh, Styles.
Sonny Styles.
Sonny Styles.
Oh, for sure.
Sonny Styles going crazy.
When I seen him, it was against Indiana where it was like a deep pass that Mendoza threw to I think Cooper, I believe. And Styles literally ran with him stride for stride. I was like, ain't that the linebacker running with the wide receiver? Like that shouldn't happen, but that should tell you a little bit of that their athleticism at linebacker with Ohio State, man. They got dudes everywhere.
Chill right. Shakur don't want that smoke, man. Shakur don't want that smoke. Shakur said he wouldn't move up to one. He said 147 was too big to fight at. But then he said he'd fight Conor Ben at 147. That's why I knew he was ducking.
Is Shakur always talking, bro?
He always talking.
Talking.
I mean, he just beat the brakes off of Teofimo though. But he said Devin Haney said, he's like, you gonna fight Devin Haney at 147? Like, sorry, man, 147 is too big. I don't know about that. And then when Conor Ben called him out, he's like, we could do it at 147. It's like, come on, dog.
Yeah, man. Hey, man, we'll see y'all later this week, man. We appreciate everybody coming through, man. All right, y'all. Peace.